Hi everyone, I'm Martina Galli from POLI.design, and today I will be moderating the presentation of the Specializing Master Designing Atmospheres. Please feel free to use the chat to submit any questions you have, which we will address in the second part of the presentation. Before leaving the floor to the faculty, I would like to tell you a little bit more about the POLI.design claim, Unlock Your Design Energy. This means enhancing the potentials and differences of each student, nurturing personal aptitudes and inclinations. Our aim at POLI.design is to offer a supportive environment that empowers students to become professionals, ready to assume leadership roles and tackle complex challenges. Each specializing master and course program, of course, unlocks a distinct energy, but they all share the same design-driven approach. Now let me introduce the speaker, Professor Anna Barbara, the president of POLI.design. So thank you, and I leave you the floor.
Thank you very much, Martina, and hello to everyone. I'm very pleased to launch the first edition of Atmosphere Design, which is a master dedicated to a topic which is very crucial today, and we will go into that. Just introduce myself, Anna Barbara. I'm an architect, and I worked for years about the topic of atmosphere design as sense and time-based design. Then together with me as a co-director, we will have Maria Porro. Maria Porro, she's a scenographer, but most of all, she's the president of the Salone del Mobile in Milano, and she is very close to the topic of the atmosphere design. And the scientific coordinator is Barbara Camuccini. She's also a professor at Politecnico, and she also works on inclusive design and community design. Why designing atmospheres? Indeed, we found that in the past year, this topic became very crucial. And it's crucial because we have a lot of digital devices in our hands, and so the spaces need a level of emotional qualities that are very important. So we have specialized designers in lighting design, sound design, but we do not have much designers in atmospheres that join all the senses, so lighting design, sound design, CMF design, and also emotional design, behavioral design, and so on. So this request is very, very crucial, and we need to educate designers and professionals into these very important new fields. So it is related mostly to retail design, hospitality design, events, exhibitions, and of course all the brands need to have their own atmosphere related to the brand identity, so the request is quite huge and important. So what are our goals? Our goals is to develop sensitivity in designers in the topic that I mentioned before, but it's also important to underline that the master will be not focused in what we could say your creativity. We hope you have already your creativity, but we want this master to drive you through all the skills that you need to have, or eventually to understand how you could communicate with all the experts that you will meet during your process on creating an atmosphere design. So from the concept to the productions, to the suppliers, to the expert, but also to the fundraising, to the international legal questions and items that you need to know to arrive and to drive from the concept to the final results. So you will find this master as a very pragmatical master, and this is what our approach will be. And so the structure of the master is also something new, because we know that Milano is becoming very expensive, so we will try to have all the theoretical lectures online. in order also to reach an international faculty of experts around the world that will teach you from Canada or New Zealand or Japan about some theoretical topics. Then you will arrive in Milano. And when you will arrive in Milano for the last 4 months, you will have the workshops, you will have the practical projects, and also you will come with us to visit sites and companies related to this topic. So mostly the structures will be with online theoretical lectures, and then we will give you some the lectures online will follow all the modules, and then when you come back you will work in classroom in having workshops with international experts also in atmosphere design. Mostly you will be focused on let's say 3 important projects. One will be your graduation project, one will be the workshop that will land probably in the Salone del Mobile, so in the Design Week of Milano, and one with the most important designer, atmosphere designer in the world. We are already in contact with many of them, and one of them will be your professor leader for the workshop. And the other items will be used also as a possible review related to your main project, which will be the one of the graduation. The course will be in English, of course, and after that you will have your internship that could be in Milano, managed by us, or if some of you has your own interest in your country or in different countries, we can help you to follow and to attend an internship internationally. So what will be the topics? The topics will be first of all what we call theoretical ones. So this will be mainly online. Then we will have a module that we call people and communities to understand exactly who are the targets and the personas into your projects. Then there will be one dedicated to the concept. Most of them will be not follow the sequence in a linear way, but they are interwoven. And then you will have a part dedicated on how time and digital and analogical tools will affect the design of the atmosphere. Mostly they are temporary, but sometimes they are not. If in case you work on atmosphere in retail or in a lobby of a hotel, it's not temporary. Then we will have a very important modules, more than 80 hours in sense-based design, and you will work on the perception side, so neuroscience, but also in the technologies that could be used and are actually used in lighting, in sounds, and so on. Then we will have a module that we call executions, when you should learn protocols and international regulations, because most of the time atmospheres are not only in your country, but they are regulated by international rules. We will have a module of communication, because it's always very strategical that you understand that communication is part of the project, not at the end when the project is already done, but you will engage the communication strategy at the beginning of the project, sometimes even before the project itself. And then we will have the ephemeral, that is the workshop driven by Maria Porro, and the guidance, because we need you to know how to create, for instance, a business plan related to the atmosphere, how to fundraising, and how to manage the relationship with suppliers and clients. Because many times it happens that the creative people, they do not know how to manage the clients, which is a very important part of our work. And then the final workshop mostly will be on another project, completely, let's say, independent, of course, on the atmosphere, but will be driven by an international atmosphere designers with a topic that she or he will give it to you. So professional outcomes, the master is mostly something related on designers of space, but the idea is that it's also dedicated to scenographers, architects, landscaper who want to improve their expertise. So we do not only design spaces, but we design places and also the experience and the atmosphere to enhance these atmospheres. So market is very huge and requests are quite important. So this is the reason why Poly.design moved to this idea and this possibility to launch the first atmosphere design master. Why to choose this master? Because it's very strategical today. As I was mentioning before, we are sometimes addicted to our digital devices and we do not perceive in the space where we are. So the request to the spatial designer is to design atmosphere, to involve the body, the senses, and to make space who are memorable. So the master in designing atmosphere has as an undertitle, Next Skills and Qualities for Spaces and Interiors. Then you could be a neuroscientist, you could be a behavioral psychologist, you could be a scenographer, an architect, and you need this extra skill to approach your design. I will leave the floor to Martina on the technicalities.
Thank you very much. I'll take the floor again to provide more details about the application process for the first edition of Designing Atmospheres, which will begin in October 2025. On the Specializing Master webpage, on the Poly.design website, you will find the full list of required materials for the selection phase. By clicking on the Apply button, you will be able to create your personal account and upload the necessary files. The application will then be completed on the Politecnico di Milano website by uploading all the documents related to your academic qualifications. If you need any assistance during this phase, you can scan the QR code and book a call. Then there are two main steps to follow. The first one is the selection step, which must be completed no later than 60 days before the course starting date. And the second one is the enrollment step to be completed by 45 days, within 45 days. And note that the applications are processed in chronological order and spots are limited, and so don't wait for the last minute. Additionally, by uploading your documents, you will be already eligible to attend the next round of interviews scheduled for May 21st from 2 p.m. Then you can find the course fee listed on the slide, along with our promotional policy designed specifically for this program, an initiative to support the design potential of those who choose Poly.design. In particular, I'd like to highlight the partial exemptions of 25% until June 20 and the early bird until May 30. And let's now move on to the Q&A session, and I'll start by reading the questions that we received in the chat room. So let's start from the first one. Are there any specific skills required for the selection?
No, just
No.
indeed, it's better if you have studied something related to the space. That doesn't mean space as an architect or a designer, but you should know what are the quality of the space and we can work together with. Actually, we do not ask for a specific request in, let's say, softwares like SketchUp or others, because indeed, even if you know how to draw with a pencil, you can do it. For us, what is important is that you have the sensitivity on the space, and if you study something related to that, it's better. But I would tell you that is not necessary. According on your motivation on attending this master, we could find personalized also solutions to engage you. Most of the projects will be in groups, so if there is some, we can balance in a different way.
Okay, so the second one was about softwares, but we already answered. So let's move on. I have a question about the theoretical classes module. Is it 100% online? Don't they teach theoretical lessons at the university? How long is this module?
Okay, the module is 16 hours in total, and so not that much. But of course, they can teach theoretical, and we do theoretical even during the workshop. We do theoretical in presence. But the reason why we tried to move the theoretical lecture online is to reduce the amount of hours you should stay in Milano. So according on the calendar as it is now, even if the course, the master will start in October, you should arrive in Milano in February. That means that all the first part, all the professors, most of the professors will give some lectures online and some lectures will be in presence, except for the theoretical ones. Just to give an example, some of the professors are really the guru of the atmosphere design. Some of them, they are like 70 years old or 75 years old. And so we are not going to move them for 2 hours in Milano to meet you. So the balance is, in order to reach them wherever they are around the world, we prefer to have this class, the theoretical one, mostly online. Usually the module online will be 3 or 4 hours, if there will be 4 hours divided in 2 and plus 2, or 3 hours. But we have tested already in other courses and masters that this is suitable, and the idea is that the theoretical classes are not a blah 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 session when the professors talk, but they will interact with you. So we tested already and it works quite well.
Okay, thank you. Then there's another one about the online part, but we already answered, I think. How long will the online part of the master be? And we already answered. And during this online period, will there be any in-person sessions that require travel? But no.
No,
Not during this phase.
no. In fact, the reason why we decided for this formula is to help you to stay in Milano for a shorter period, more intensive, but avoiding you to pay a rent for 1 year and maybe to have sometimes weeks which are not full of teaching. No, as you know, you have online, you have classroom, and you have also individual time for developing the projects and so on, and you have the internship and so on. So the idea is to try to compress and to have all the presence hours in a period of 4 months, in order that if you need to transfer, and you should transfer, and we are trying to have you here during the Salone del Mobile, which is the week where all the world arrives in Milano. So to reduce your expenses and to make your experience effective, and of course to create the community, because the community is not only the professors but are also the students and your colleagues. I have to maybe inform you that we already started to have the interviews, and we have a lot of attendees also already approved. So in case you are interested in the master, take your decision quite fast because I already met a lot of applicants, and most of them were suitable, and they are into the process of confirmation of the application.
Okay, thank you. Then we have 2 similar questions, so maybe let's combine them into one.
Okay.
About the internship. So I want to know more about the internships, and another one that I read before, but I can't find it anymore. So, okay. Yeah, I want to know more about the internships and companies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that collaborate with the masters.
Okay. So the internship is, as all the masters in Polydesign. Polydesign has a huge number of companies in Italy, but not only design companies, sometimes also design studio in Italy and abroad, where usually the students attend their internship, and in this case will be related to the atmosphere design. So could be, for instance, brands related to the hospitality, hotels, but not the hotels itself, but the design team of the hotels. Or in Italy, we have in Milano also very large, the largest company, architectural firm, which is called, for instance, Lombardini 22. They have a unit which is called Atmos, just to give an example, and they develop into their huge projects or architectural projects and interiors, they develop specifically the atmosphere design. So we will drive you to this kind of internship. And there is a third category that I forgot. There are many artists like Olafur Eliasson, Thomas Saraceno, and others that they do atmosphere design, but in the same time they have also their own studio to produce this. Sometimes 35, 70 people working for them in the design of the atmosphere. And sometimes the internship could be also in the office of artists that work in atmosphere design. So they need students and applicants and partners and collaborators to work with them. Most of the time, the internship is also an opportunity to bridge the students to the company, and if it works, sometimes it happens that they continue to work with the company even after the internship itself.
Okay, thank you. Then, how will we be guided in participating in the making of the Milan Design Week 2026?
The module of ephemeral design driven by Maria Porro, she will be the director. So she is on the on one side she's a scenographer, so she knows how to drive you, but in the same time she's the queen of the fair, of the design week, because all the organization, all the event in the fair and outside are managed by her, because actually she's the one. We are thinking, we are designing, and I cannot tell you all the details, how your workshop will produce something that eventually will be exhibited during the next Salone del Mobile. But this is something that we are fixing, because of course Salone del Mobile is quite crowded and complicated, but our idea is that your project with her will take part in certain way to that event.
Okay. And then, how often are the factory industry visits over the span of the course?
Indeed, we have study tours, and we have, or we invite them, or we go to visit them. And in the calendar, we are planning some of them, but this is also something that Polydesign does for their students, for our students. We are very close, because Federlegno, for instance, is a partner of Polydesign. So we have continuously also students coming from all over the world, and we organize a study tour for them into companies or into museums dedicated to this. So of course, even for atmosphere design, we will drive you to companies that develop this kind of projects. Probably the same one that will be available for the internship, to host the internships.
Okay, so the last one, I think. Hello. Regarding the contents of the modules, will we learn about philosophy related to space?
Uh, Philosophy, it's a huge area and it's too generic to say philosophy. There are a part of relating on how to think about space in the module of theoretical ones. Then in the module of people, there are a lot of thinking and exercise on that. And on the module that we call concept and also execution, but in concept, which could be called also meta project, that is something very specific from Politecnico, and so POLI.design, that is dedicated on how to think about space. Also, the module that you will do with me, time and senses, mostly all of them, they will work on the philosophy of the space with the specific lectures and exercises. And of course, it is just to underline, most of your professors will, let's say, we have a balance between Politecnico professors arriving from architecture, interior, and spatial design, and so, because as you know, the final certificate is this is a Politecnico master delivered by Poly.design, and also important professional in atmosphere design, in legal design, and so on. So at the end, we will try to go through all the, let's say, the process of designing atmosphere, from the concept, communication, until the deliver of that.
Okay, so thank you very much. I would really like to thank Professor Anna Barbara for this presentation. And of course, thank you all for staying with us, and stay tuned for the next presentation.
Thank you.